Greetings, mortals, and welcome over there to Shaved. Yeah.
Fortunately, I shaved for a reason that y'all aren't going to appreciate. I shaved because I'm going to a doctor's office today and I need to be taken seriously. Not for myself. I'm going for to basically see a second pair of eyes for a friend of mine who I think that people should always go to the doctor with more than one person. There's too much information and it's too stressful for, like, if you're going for, like, a reason as opposed to just like, oh, I'm getting a checkup or whatever. Bring a friend, bring a family member, bring someone with you. I always make that suggestion. This is something that I learned from my mother, who's had to deal with a lot of doctors. So, that being said, that's the intro to the stream. We're going to be having a shorter stream today because I have to end at 11:30 instead of 1. So, that is a heads up. And I knew about this several days ago and forgot about it when I was actually live streaming. So we're going to make an attempt to do this quickly. I forgot to check if there is an update. I don't think there will be, but there might be there might be one. So let's just check. Last update was 2 days ago. No problem. Don't have to worry about it. Swap over to live scene. Swap over to my Magic 8, load that shit up, and we got this on lockdown. So despite the title, I'm not even remotely despairing about today. The one thing that is a little concerning is the fact that we have a shorter stream today. We don't have that much time. So we don't have a lot of time to dig in to the into the dungeon the way we would like to. I'd like to have the opportunity for a few attempts. We really just don't have enough time for that many attempts. So we're going to pop in here. We are going to not reset the dungeon. We're going to pop over to... What time is it anyway? Yeah, it's only like 1:53 in game. I am tempted to train just to maximize our chances of getting the job done, but I honestly just don't think I can justify it. I don't think I can justify it. I think that's fine. We're just going to have to live with it. So, I went to the wrong... No, I didn't. Right, it doesn't matter. I remember now. Wait, can I enter this door? No. Okay. It'd be cool if that was two-way. So, the teleporter is not two-way. We don't need to go back there. It's not a big deal. Okay. So, we're going to Blackshire. The alternative that we could do, if we wanted to, is that we could actually... I went to the wrong place. We could actually just go to Hermit's Isle and do that. But I don't think that makes sense as an option yet. So we're going to dedicate the stream today to making probably one more really good attempt at this dungeon. The dungeon is very difficult and very long. We had almost cleared all that we needed to clear. In the previous one, we got killed by an instant death effect that I had been dicking around in my inventory multiple times, did not find my stuff. I was in fact beaten. I was in fact beated by the inventory management boss. Like, unironically, that is what killed me, which is really, really rough. Feels really bad to waste that much of everybody's time on that. Like, it doesn't even feel like a fun way to die, really. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, you died in the way that you predicted a billion years ago and then didn't account for when you were actually doing your stuff. Great, thanks. Thanks for wasting an hour and a half of our time. That was great of you. Well played. No one's ever said anything like this to me, by the way. This is just my internal monologue and how it works. So, I have an intellectual understanding of the fact that people enjoy watching me die and suffer, and that intellectual understanding has never transitioned into a proper comprehension. So, we are going to cast Day of the Gods, because we have the mana for it. We're going to cast Fly, because we can. And we're just going to run straight to this place over here. To blow through these. So we should have an easier time. I'm just trying to stream. We should have an easier time dealing DPS. Now, I think our overall damage is pretty decent bit higher than it was before. So we should have an easier time with that at least. And we should be able to basically just plow through these with no problem. Really, the only issue in this zone is going to be Darkmoor itself. The rest of the dungeon here, like the rest of the stuff here, is just not that relevant from my perspective. Yeah, I think we also have more lifesteal on you. I believe we swapped our thing to of darkness during the most recent itemization swappage, which is a really sizable effect on our durability that is not necessarily obvious. Is that pleasant? Okay. There's a peasant model that is here that appears to be a peasant of some sort because it doesn't attack you, it just runs away. That is a pretty good amount of HP actually. That lifesteal is not bad. Cool. Alright, we're in the green. Cast Fly. Pop down here. Did we want to kill the dragon? I'm actually not even going to bother killing the dragon. Because I just don't know that it's worth it. So we are okay, there we go. So we're going to save this. And is there anything else that we need to do before we get started in earnest? We have cast, I think, all of the buffs that we need. No, we haven't. We haven't cast one important buff that, okay, important is a strong word. We haven't cast Immolation. And I'm going to cast Immolation. That's going to give us a little bit more DPS. Part of our goal today is to do things quickly because of the fact that we're on a time limit. I don't usually worry too much about speed, but we're going to do a little bit of speed optimization here just because of the fact that we are... Now, unfortunately, it might take me a few attempts to get the corners down in terms of the spacing correct. I'd love to play risky with these and like see how I can handle a Cuisinart now. Like, I'd love to just play with you. I'm not going to start playing with them until we get to a safer position. Once we get to a safer position where we've had the ability to save, we can start dicking around with it. But I really need to take things seriously. The other thing that we now know that we didn't know before is that the Liches are the only ones who can Dispel. We don't have to worry about Dispels coming out of the Beholders. I do need to keep identifying stuff. Cuisinart. Oh, that is quite a bunch of them. Hopefully they don't just walk by. Okay, we golden. Oh, so we have vision on one of them. We're just starting up with fully serious try-hard mode right off the bat. Did I cast Preservation? I did. How funny would it be if I cast all those buffs and didn't cast Preservation as I'm dealing with Cuisinarts? Nope, there's still a Cuisinart. Okay. There's a lot of Cuisinarts in this pack. Holy shit. There are gonna be more in this pack? Yeah, there are. There's another Cuisinart in this pack still? Holy shit. Okay. So we've got the Cuisinart. We had the Cuisinart. We still have the Cuisinart. So we're going to burn through the Cuisinart. Easy peasy. There's 2 Doom Knights. Let's find out how much damage they do. Never mind. Okay. I'm going to aggro a bunch of these. I'm actually not sure how safe I have to be in terms of pull size. As long as I know that I'm dealing with a corner that's effective, I think I can be pretty aggressive with the actual pulling. Certainly for the beginning here, right? Because in the beginning here, like, I'm only risking a little bit. Honestly, I do really like this opening. We've had a lot of Cuisinarts, and I would like to have as many Cuisinarts in the early pulls as possible, just because I like to get shiny things. They live forever and ever. Somebody's hitting me, but I don't know how many of them are on there. So we still have a Cuisinart here. There's Death Knight dead. Cuisinart's dead. There's still one more. Cutlass, huh?
It might be useful.
Okay. Moving right along. There's probably more over here. Is that just the Lich? That might just be the Lich. Okay, Lich is dead. The Lich has obtained Stitch. There comes a point where you have deformed an expression so far that even people who are aware of the original expression and even probably the history of your usage of the expression would never get it. So at some point I took the expression snitches get stitches, which is something that some mob boss says in, like, I don't know, something, right? I associate it, I haven't seen a lot of Mafia media, so it's probably something that I heard from a person who heard it on a TV show that I haven't seen. Who knows? It might have been on The Sopranos, it might have been on The Godfather, who the hell knows? Probably not The Godfather, it sounds kind of low class, like, it sounds kind of crass for Godfather, but what do I know? I only saw the movie once. that interested in, honestly. But let's see here. Anyway, so snitches get stitches, liches get stitches, you know, just obvious thing. And then, of course, that transitions into whatever nonsense I just said, which was so unmemorable that I don't even remember specifically what it was. But something about them getting a stitch, and that is what happened. That's the thing. Anyway. This is how language adapts over time. Alright, is this the last enemy in here? Okay, so that was a fairly small pack. We are going to aggro you. This is just the lowest tier of these. Very fast. We have a few more over here. And then we have ditches, which is also a viable variant of the expression, right? Is that a variant of the expression that you've heard before, or is it just a rhyme that you're making now because it just makes sense? One thing that I actually think is very interesting about, like, my culture that I think is very interesting is that... Oh, Jesus Christ! Is that the full expression? Did I just not know the full expression? Because I just heard it from some kid at some point 30 years ago? Probably wouldn't have been 30 years ago. I don't think that I heard it when I was 8. That makes sense. That's probably the full thing. Again, I don't know where I heard it. I'm pretty sure that I heard it, like, at the very least, secondhand, and potentially fifth hand. The really terrifying idea, honestly, is that it's not actually an expression that somebody used in like a mob movie, and it's literally just a thing that's just like a common colloquial expression in the English-speaking world. I should ask some of my Singaporean friends if they are familiar with the term snitches get stitches, and if they are they only familiar with it because they heard it from me? And if they didn't only hear it from me, where they've heard it. Or if they even remember where they first heard it. Because there's a lot of expressions that are like very local, that are like regionally distinct. Not so much anymore. There's I feel like there's a lot fewer like expressions that the average 25-year-old would know that is actually particularly local. Like, locality is now more tied to what region of the internet you're familiar with, like what subcultures you're in, as opposed to what, like your locality is, right? Like, there was a lot of shit that was local memes in the town I grew up in that I don't know that there are that many of those anymore. I cannot believe this, but we've got this venomous Cuisinart locked in right off the bat. Now, on a normal stream, I would start doing a Google Fest to just like dive into this because I'm curious about it. I'm not going to on this stream because we are on a time limit. We have 2 hours 15 minutes. Alright, look, I'm not 150 years old, okay? Let's be clear. I'm 256. Let's be clear. When I was a child. I think there are differences between the internet subcultures and like local subcultures in the sense that I actually feel like internet subcultures make it so that every subculture has like the potential that the Bronx did. Where like Bronx subcultures became part of mainstream culture because people from outside the Bronx would go into the Bronx to experience the culture and bring things out of it, right? So, you know, back in the day, the only way that your culture propagates to the rest of the world is if somebody shows up, right? And there weren't no visitors to the town that I grew up in, right? Like, nobody's visiting that town that wasn't already part of the town, right? Like, so you don't have, like, the local culture escaping into the broader culture. Like, the things that were local to the town I grew up in were definitely going to remain local. None of that shit is moving. Like, sure, the people in that town would periodically, like, leave or whatever, but fundamentally they're not spreading their local subculture into the broader culture in any meaningful way, right? They just don't have the spread. Whereas with the internet, it's much easier. Oh no, it's the namesake of the entire stream has shown up. My great nemesis. Whereas with internet subcultures, there's a lot more ability for a fairly niche and bizarre thing that like 15 people know about to very suddenly and spontaneously spread to like the entire world in a way that would generally only happen otherwise if like with physical subcultures, like physical space, if like you got a celebrity or something, right? But virality has an impact that, and to be fair, virality is diminishing over time to a degree, but not that much. Virality still exists, not in terms of like YouTube, but in terms of things like Twitter, so in social media. So you still have some of that kind of stuff, and probably TikTok. I don't know. Actually, I don't know much about TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
Oh, I don't know.
I know very little about that.
It's worthless.
It's nice to have. Oh, never mind. This is of life. I thought that was of the Phoenix. Let's see here. I was gonna say it's nice to have of the Phoenix and fire resist, but nope. What was I looking for? I don't know what I was looking for, but I presume. Ah, yes. To be fair, I'm also on Twitter, and I have not downloaded Twitter. I've actually seen some TikToks, not even just on my wife's phone. I've seen TikToks because a friend will send me a link, and then I have to navigate their garbage. What was I looking at? This. It's on the ground. Accuracy, earth resistance, and 30 stats. It's not bad, but honestly, our plate is so good that we would need something that is really next level to justify even paying attention. But Yeah, apparently TikTok's algorithm is very good. Again, I don't have direct experience with it, but they apparently have a very good algorithm compared to like other social media companies. Like the Google has very much moved away from usable algorithms and into the most monetizable algorithms in a way that really undermines the way that their products work. A much more relevant factor to YouTube's like recommendations for you than how likely you are to actually want to watch the thing is how well YouTube can monetize your watch time on it. So if you would love a thing and YouTube knows that you would love a thing, but they can't monetize that in the most efficient way, they will in fact just not show it to you at all. Unless they can monetize it to you very aggressively, they're not going to show it to you. And that didn't used to be the case. The way that YouTube used to work was fundamentally different. Same is true for Google generally. Google has shifted away from results that are meant to secure them market share by being good results and has shifted to exploitation of the existing market share by making it so that each result is the most monetizable, right? So TikTok, because TikTok is having to challenge like the pre-existing, markets of social media, TikTok is currently in the building market share phase. And because they're in the building market share phase, their algorithm is not optimized for monetization of each individual view. It's optimized for retention and generation of viewership, right? That's the goal of their algorithm. So apparently their algorithm is pretty good right now. That will change, 100%. That will change over time. It will get worse. That's a guarantee, because corporations are not your friends. But I have seen several cat videos on TikTok because those are the videos that my wife sees on TikTok. Well, okay, those are the videos that she sees on TikTok that she's actually showing me. She has whatever her feed is. But everyone that I've ever heard talking about TikTok has a feed that they have described as being actually very useful. Like, for my purposes, the YouTube feed is usually completely useless, right? Like, there's usually basically no utility in the actual recommendations of YouTube for me. And that's always pretty much been the case. Generally speaking, YouTube has always been pretty bad at recommending things, but and it's not its worst level. There were times where it was actually way worse than it is now. YouTube is definitely not in the worst position it's ever been in terms of the usability of the algorithm. Oh, this is the leecher. Okay, so there's a leecher here. And on the plus side, we managed to lock it in a way where we don't actually have to... but this leecher is hitting hard as fuck. It's such a useful thing that I got that... oh, no. Where is it? Oh, it moved away. Interesting. It's very useful that we got that of darkness effect on that sword. Without the of darkness effect on Silria's lifesteal would be very, very low. And we'd be in deep shit with something like this. Yes, the percentage of HP legendary is so good for really powerful boss enemies like this. Let's take a look at this helm.
Now this will do.
It's trash. Okay, so... This will do great. In the trash heap that I'm about to throw it in. Oh! There's a reflecting Cuisinart that got added into this pack. So we have a second boss. Hey, Astro Kitty. Hey, I have a good feeling. And, you know... How embarrassing would that have been? Because I feel like it would be pretty embarrassing. That was an hour left. I thought I had at least 6. So... If I had died just because I didn't pay enough attention to preservation this early... Hey, you know, I highly recommend finding one. I highly recommend it. Is immolation more enough? Immolation didn't more enough. Let's re-guess. You just wanted me to do that so that I'd hurt myself with the reflection, didn't you? Is that why you said that? I'm onto your tricks. I don't actually know if the reflection reflects immolation.
Someone here.
I'm not dead yet.
Come on.
Okay. I'm going to aggro this other group. Mostly because we don't have a Cuisinart. So I don't feel that concerned. And I don't want to just waste time pulling these all the way back when I could just keep pulling until I get a Cuisinart or something else interesting. So we saw those beholders out there, but we didn't actually aggro them. I'm going to aggro everything. Now that I know they can't dispel, I don't need to worry about them as much, but I do still need to worry about the fact that I just pull the boss and then let it do whatever it wanted. Yeah. Did they remove, like, I don't know why they changed that on the UI. Like, that's an insane change for them to make in 8. Like, what, you didn't have room on the UI for the preservation indicator? What the hell? I would actually be very curious to know what went into that creative decision. Because presumably there was something that caused it to happen, right? It's like, did they right? Like, I can't think of any reason why it would be desirable to do so. So it feels like it would have to be like something weird like, oh, we forgot that preservation existed. Or, you know what I mean? Something like that. So there's a Swift Evil Eye. I think these have a triple hit. Move here. Alright. Yes, perfect. Alright, the Swift is here. They're both able to hit me from here, I think. But I think they have a 3-way shot, so I don't think it can hit me with all 3 shots. So... The corner is still valuable, even if it's not doing quite what we want. We fought a lot of bosses already. I'm very happy with the pull that we've had so far. This has been a very fun and engaging opening for this. So we have another Evil Eye. It's not a boss. It does have a triple shot. Another one over there. We've actually killed the bulk of the Evil Eyes. We have a shit ton of Cuisinarts coming in, though. I'm hopeful that the Cuisinarts don't do that. Luckily, it was just a Death Knight that did that. I think it tends to only be, like, the first enemy in the pack that does that. And the others get, like, properly locked in. Okay, I can hit them from here. Something's attacking me. We can actually hit more than one from here, and not only... Okay. I don't think there's any Cuisinarts in this pack, so I am tempted to just... I should not have stayed, I should have moved. Should have moved. Alright, that's fine. Alright, we got another eye. Don't let the name fool you. There are, in fact, multiple of them. Okay. Air resistance scroll. Okay, we're making pretty good progress through here. We've aggroed one more enemy. Is it a Cuisinart? If it's Cuisinart, I need a corner. It's not a Cuisinart, we're fine. So we just stand right here, wait for it to come to us. And I'm going to just pop out here. We're going to aggro probably quite a lot of enemies. We're going to stand in this corner. We need to back up a bit. I think that the way to do it is to stand far enough forward at the start that I risk them hitting me. And then only after they have locked themselves into melee range like this, only then retreat back. So we're probably going to take some opening hits, with the benefit being that we don't run the risk of them running straight by us the way they have been. I think that that's the way to do it. Okay. Let's take a look also at our damage output. So, that is shocking. So, to be clear and to remind everyone, I have not changed Severia's gear. Severia's gear is the exact same as it was in my previous run. Now, I don't know if I checked my attack damage in the previous run, but Severia's consistently been doing 30% of my overall damage. Severia is now getting out-damaged by Ashcore. Ashcore is now higher in damage. But in addition to Ashcore being higher in damage, Silria and Kortal are both doing a lot of damage. Now that is expected, right? The fact that they have a lot of damage output relative to before, that makes sense because they're not having to heal because we haven't been doing anything where we're brute forcing. So we don't have any situations where they're wasting time healing or anything like that. So you should expect, at the very least, Kortal to have more damage. But Silria spends almost all of her time just smacking things anyway. So that's a huge upgrade in her damage. And Ashcore hasn't been out damaging Severia for a long time. That was something that happened like a while back, but hasn't happened in quite a while. And Kortal is coming back up. Kortal was barely in the double digits for quite a while there. Korbrick was really struggling to do damage. And the changes that we've made to our gearing to just prioritize DPS have succeeded in accomplishing that task. We are definitely doing way more damage than we were before. Now, squishier? A little bit. Like, Korbrick in particular is a lot squishier than before. But, like, the overall effect, I think, is going to be very positive for us. So I'm going to try to pull the rest of this, the rest of this area before I deal with the Lich Room. Because I don't necessarily even need to deal with the area to the southwest of me at all. It might not even be relevant. So, because of that, I don't think there's any reason for me to waste time and resources on enemies that are going to be dispelling me until I have better eyes on where I even need to go. So we've got a couple more. I think one of them is a Cuisinart. Yep, that's a Cuisinart. So we are going to just slap ourselves right here. We have multiple that are attacking us immediately, but they are the little ones. And the fact that we don't have to worry about the evil eyes, because they're evil eyes and not the floating head things, is a big deal for us. Oh, nice. Congrats. What's the affix on it? That just ran right by me anyway. Oh, that's a really good effect to be able to put on whatever item you want, too. Very nice. Oh, nice.
I'm not sure what it is.
So basically, you now have the ability to make 2 items that are immunity to all status effects.
Now this will do.
Let's see here. Hey, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The immunity to all status effects actually is way more important than it seems as you get, like, later into the stuff, because of the fact that, like, you have to be immune to instant death, and you have to be immune to unconsciousness, and you don't always have to be immune to instant death, right? Instant death you can be not immune to as long as you can keep protection from magic up. But when you need it, like when you're in Darkmoor, for instance, because of the dispels, You really, really need it. That's a huge issue. We have a lich on us somewhere. Luckily, the lich is not currently... Dispel isn't a status effect. The key to Dispel is Dispel will dispel your protection from magic. And then instant death effects can go after you. So Unconsciousness, you have to have an item for. There's no way around it, right? Instant death, you're usually not going to need specifically an item for, because you can cast spells for it. But in a place with Dispel, the thing that actually broke the most recent run here, the thing that got me, was not Preservation getting dispelled. It was Protection from Magic getting dispelled. The character who died had 3,000 HP. They were dead with positive 3,000 HP. They got tagged by a Power Lich's instant death. So a normal Lich dispelled the Protection from Magic, like so. And then, because the Protection from Magic was gone, the one character who didn't have an absolute immunity item and who I didn't track down in my inventory where the instant death immunity item was, even though I knew that I needed it, they got gibbed. They just got gibbed. And it was very sad, and it cost me several hours of gameplay. Now, obviously, under normal circumstances, the stakes aren't that high, right? Like, you don't normally have to deal with, this thing tagged me with a dispel, so I have to reload because one character fell over dead. You can just revive them or whatever, right? But depending on who gets insta-gibbed by that and, like, when it is, I mean, that can easily be lethal, right? Like, they tagged my, depending on how you're playing the game, either the person who... Oh, I guess you can't teleport out anyway. So yeah, like, basically the person who would be doing the revival is the one who got killed, right? So, and, it's easy to say, just have the items that give you the immunity effects, right? But the further you get, the more important it is to have coherent item builds, and the less you can afford to just lose an entire item slot to every status effect that you need to block, right? So the relative effectiveness of that piece of gear plummets heavily once you get Grandmaster Protection for Magic, and then from there it starts sort of like gradually creeping back up again as like enemies get multiple effects that they can proc on the same attack, and there's quite a few effects that just go right through Protection for Magic, including Instant Unconsciousness, which is an extraordinarily powerful effect. Most of the things that go through Protection for Magic aren't that big a deal. Like, it's fine. You're not going to lose the game because one of your characters was made drunk. Does drunkenness go through Protection for Magic? I think it might. But insanity, not going to be the end of the game, right? Like, curse, really shitty. At the point in the game where we're talking about here, it's not like a run ender, right? I just did a stupid. Okay, we're gonna go down here. And I think all the things that I just aggroed were on the other side, so... I don't know... It's now been longer since I played, so I don't think there's anything in there that I need to worry about right now. I'm just going to go right here, and we're going to start beating on this Cuisinart, with the understanding that I need to make sure that my preservation remains up on everybody, because there's both the possibility to get tagged from the front by one of these Cuisinarts, And there's also the possibility that a Power Lich yoinks me from behind. And either of those would be very deadly. Because we're standing in melee range, and things are moving around a lot. There's very much the possibility of this going very badly, very suddenly. I wish I had access to... Like, I wish I had eyes on the thingers. We are preserved, right? Yeah, everybody's got preservation. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this. Okay, this evil eye can walk through the wall. I don't think it can hit me from here, because I don't have the ability to hit it unless I hover over it. So I think that I'm safe from this for now. So... Like, the center of my mass doesn't have line of sight to the center of its mass, basically. We are being attacked by liches right now. So... They're not going to be able to hit me from where they are right now. But they can dispel me from anywhere. And these are not actually in line of sight to attack me, so they're doing fake attacks. Is there a spot on the animation that I can consistently hit? Okay, that Cuisinart's toast. We just got dispelled. We need to get him to cover immediately. Cast Preservation. Yes. He was run off by his allies. The others ran him out. There was a coup, basically. Severa's crit chance. Good question. Give me a second to... I want to just clear out these Cuisinarts and then I'll address inventory stuff. This is a very spooky situation to be in for me. Because of the fact that I'm continuously getting dispelled by the liches. And the liches, in the previous time I was doing this, eventually ended up, like, coming to me. I don't know why they can't attack me through this. This is a very weird wall. This is also a very, very big pack. Like, holy shit. Yeah, somehow the liches eventually got to me last time, and I just want to make sure that I'm clearing through this before I do anything. So, we are at risk of getting tagged here. Like, if we got tagged like that with worse timing by a Cuisinart instead of a Death Knight, because I don't think... There is a Cuisinart left, but I don't think that it tagged me. If that had happened, then I'd be in deep shit. That could have just instigated me. Luckily, the Dispel has a very distinct sound effect attached to it. Severia's crit chance is... How do we see Severia's crit chance, actually? %. It's pretty high. Alright, so we're going to cast Day of Protection. Yeah. So Severia crits on about half of attacks and does... Is this damage bonus the multiplier, or is this a damage bonus? Does it do 304% damage, or does it do 204% damage on a crit? These are very different. I mean, he would be the expert, right? Alright. We're casting Preservation. We are going to clear the rest of this pack before we try to recast our buffs. We have an enemy aggroed over there, unfortunately. I need to be very careful here. Luckily, those are just Death Knights. The issue is that we now have a bunch of meandering liches, which is an issue for us. We don't know where they are. We just know they're around here somewhere. Is there one that is in this section over here? Cast Preservation. Something just cast Dispel. They clearly think they have line of sight on me. I just have no idea where they actually are. I would guess that most of these are in the big room, which is a problem. Because there's not a lot I can do about the big room right now, you know? Go over here. So there's some liches over here. Is there anything I can do? Yes. So we can tag this lich. That's one greater... Oh, fuck me! I might die here. Okay. We are casting Preservation. I shouldn't need it right now. There's another one out there. We're waiting on it. They've now all locked in. We should be safe. We are not safe. There's a Cuisinart that is currently hitting us. We don't even have our buffs up. We do have Preservation right now, but I'm hearing liches attacking me, which means that a lich could break my thing at any time. Oh, I can cast Divine Intervention. I'm not going to, but that's the thing I could cast. You have negative 13,000 HP? Right, I don't have Regen cast. Good point, good point. It's not my best regen, but there we go. Everybody's up, and we're going to, despite everything potentially getting blown off almost immediately, we're just going to cast pretty much all of our buffs. Preservation is on everybody. We have... Yeah, the Lich room, that big room over there with... I call it the Lich room even though there's not that many Liches, it's mostly Beholders. But that Beholder room is really causing problems for me.
No room. Useless.
Okay. Everything went fine. We have another pack over there, which we have aggroed. We're going to pop back over here. I don't know for sure, but I believe that we no longer have any mid-tier liches on us. I think that the pack that we were dealing with before is dead now. I think the other things there are beholders. I have no reason to believe that, but that's my belief. So my goal now is to finish clearing out this one room.
We don't need this.
And once we've cleared out this room, I think we should be mostly golden. I don't really need a corner here, so I'm just blocking line of sight a little bit. Temporarily. Okay, so here's a question. We have 6 resistances that we want to play with eventually. Do we eventually want to settle on a specific resistance being attached to each party member? And if so, is it worth worrying about? It's not really worth worrying about, but we are going to fixate on it for right now. So Earth, I think, what did you have that you're doing in your body or something? Is that what I established? Yes, you're doing body. That makes sense. Body is very Severia, very vampire, very everything about this whole deal.
Let's leave it behind.
This is very on brand. If you've read my book, you know why. Anyway, so that's Severia set. I traditionally associate Silria with the element of water, so we are going to do water for Silria as our expected final thing. I am going to do Earth as Korgrick, I think. Yeah, Earth as Korgrick. We are not going to have a person that we default to associating with mind, unless we have some reason that we need to later. But because we have some itemization that is a factor for. So, but yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. And then Ash will be fire and Kortal will be air. I think that's how I want to handle it. No, my vampire is explicitly not dedicated mind because they're immune to mind, which means that I'm never going to have a reason to stack mind resist. I can't even check what her mind resist looks like right now. Basically, I'm looking for which of the resistances I'm going to stack for my... Where is this thing? For my resistance things. No. All of them are going to be getting all of their resists set to the same value. It's a matter of which they are stacking to get that value. You know what I mean? Like, that's the key there. This isn't a matter of, like, what they're going to be good at tanking. It's a matter of, from an itemization perspective, who's getting which resist stacked on their gear, so that I'm not, so that I don't need to, like, who's hitting me? Hello? Did you just teleport to me from somewhere? Because that lich wasn't in this room, right? Alright, I'm going to get behind this corner if I can. This is a bad corner, but I'm going to stay behind it anyway. We don't have any power liches yet. Yeah, we do. We need to get back behind another corner. We need to cast Preservation. This is probably, almost certainly, the most dangerous pack that we've fought so far. There's no really convenient place to hold them to negate their attacks. They have Dispels, and they have Power Liches, which can hit really, really hard. A Power Lich is not something to sneeze at when you don't have Preservation. There goes the Dispel. The Greater Lich has been stunned. We can burn it down. We can cast Preservation. This Power Lich is in range. This one's in range. This one's dead. Is that the pack dealt with? We're recasting this. We are casting Regen. We're casting this. I don't see any red on my screen. I love that. And I still have Bless. Give me a second. I do need to be checking my messages in case there's a change of plans. Okay. This is a dead end. Perfect. So... Deck of Fate is 2, I think. Oh shit! You're right! We're in the green! Not only is this pack... Oh my god, we were one fight away from getting into the green in our last attempt. We were one fight away. We had almost gotten it last time. Oh, man. I love how I'm like dicking around in my inventory and fully didn't notice that I was in the green yet. Oh, man. Good catch. I would have noticed it when I was like, okay, now I need to track down if I can get into the green by walking into this corner. But holy shit, we're in the green. This corner ain't in the green. But the place we were just in is excellent. So, oh man, does that feel good. Okay. So we've made our progress, and I think we can start pulling more of this stuff. I think there's a bunch in here, right? Yes, there are. I'm just gonna dive behind this corner now. I'm going to be playing a little bit less safe, so if I do end up dying here, bear in mind that it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh wow, I clutched out on when I could save because I was about to die, but because like I'm now gonna be playing a little bit more fast and loose. Like I haven't recast preservation yet because in all likelihood I won't need it for one Power Lich hitting me. And because I'm only risking like, you know, half a minute of walking, I'm not like risking an hour and a half of playtime. I need to try the blue box. We do need to get the blue box. I'm not sure if I want to do the blue box immediately. I might want to clear a little bit more of this section first, but I do need to do it before I hit the button. So I'm going to do a couple of things. The first thing is I'm going to walk over here and I can save. So we're going to save this under Dungeon. Then we're going to save this again under Danger. So now we have the Danger save file. If we fuck up and hit the switch before we click on that box, I'll have a backup save to roll back to. So we just aggroed. A few of these. I'm just going to pop over here. I want to get myself in a position where they are all in roughly the same, coming from roughly the same direction at the very least. I don't think that I need to worry about dispels this particular second. Yes, and we do need to recast our power. And I haven't been swapping my gear over for it. Just because of the fact that we are dealing with the periodic dispels. Whew, that was very spooky. Man, I am so happy. I was actually legitimately concerned that, first of all, it actually took way less time to make that attempt than I thought it was going to. Like, that was very fast, actually, because I knew exactly what I was doing for the most part. In terms of, like, where I needed to go. That was pretty fast. And it was also my first attempt, question mark? Was that my first attempt? Did I have another attempt?
Now here's something. It's worthless.
It really is. Yeah, like what is this shit? Who is this person? What have they done with my live streamer? Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like the... Ooh, okay. So we're saving under dungeon. And... Can I just cast Levitate, actually? No. So, one thing that I will say I find disappointing in Merge Mod is actually the fact that things like vampires were not actually implemented for the other games. Like Levitate is just fully unimplemented as a mechanic, and I find that sad. I think that it should be implemented. But yeah, so it took way less time than I expected, and in order to do it, I was really worried that we were going to actually like run out of time, and I have like a hard out, right? Like I can't stay late today. I have an appointment, right? I can't just change the appointment. It's not like a social thing, right? So I need to be at a place at a time, and I was really worried that I was just going to be like, okay, well, unfortunately, you know, we didn't make any progress, and, you know, we're just going to have to start over again on the next stream. But being able to just plow through that initial section, it feels really good. I feel like well earned. You know, we spent last stream really learning how to handle this place. And we spent this, and then also spent the end of last stream making a lot of optimization changes to our party. And you can see those optimization changes in the damage values, right? Like, everybody's doing a respectable amount of damage. And that's great. There's no shot that it will be back after the appointment. The appointment is not at 11:30 when I need to leave. I need to get ready to leave. And then it's on the other side of the country. So I'll be gone all day. But we will be back tomorrow. So there's that. Yeah, so it's just an early end of the stream. But the thing is, that's still almost an hour and a half away, right? Like we might actually be able to get close to finishing this dungeon. Like, I hesitate to say finish the dungeon by the time we leave, but we got through the opening of the dungeon, where we have to play the most safe. And in addition to having cleared the entrance of the dungeon where we need to be the most safe, this is also just quite a large portion of the dungeon that we've cleared, actually. This is a lot.